everybody, and welcome to Ukraine Update here on the Shills. It's time to gather and relax and hear some stories and share some tales, and we're going to start off with some important stuff right away. So let's get everybody introduced here. We got Slavie with us again today, of course. How's it going?
Hi, it's going okay.
Good. We've got Commander McMillan with us again, of course. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad.
Good. And we got Operator Starsky, of course, in with us. And not only is he going to tell us how he's doing, but he's going to get us started off because we're on a mission today. Let's see if we can't get this done, fellow babies.
Hello, brother. Thank you so much. It's a big pleasure to see you all, guys. I missed you. You probably know that. And we have several updates. I think we should start with update from Kursk because in Kursk, it was reported by the Institute for Study of Warfare that Ukrainian troops gained some tactical advantage in on their right flank, basically southeast, if you can imagine, of the territory that was kept by our troops. They moved forward, which is good. There was kind of failing situation about a week ago on the left flank near the river called Seine, but it seems like the situation stabilized, even despite the fact that Russians brought the North Koreans, because there's a reason they bring North Koreans, because they lack manpower as well. Also, we have reported that Russians today lost 2 helicopters. One of them was lost around the Kerch Strait, and another one, I believe, the one in Kerch Strait was Ka-27, and Russians also lost in Russia Mi-2. So I have a theory why those those helicopters were lost, and check it out. I think they fell down because they were heavier than air. Could it be the case? How do you think? Let us know in the commentaries.
Physics with Starsky,
also,
everybody.
Yeah. Basically, how would Russian priests, explain that they crashed over the wall of the sky, something like that. Okay, and another thing I wanted to talk about today, guys, my brother contacted me recently, my biological brother. I don't think that he's in the chat right now, but I really hope that he is, because I dropped him the link, even though it's 5 a.m. in Australia, right now. But anyways, so he contacted me the other day, and a couple words about my bro. Okay, he's an extremely smart dude. He's a software developer. He's also an engineer, and currently he's in Australia working for the Ukrainian cause. He creates all kinds of innovative drones, land drones, flying drones, FPV drones. He creates all kinds of measures to make them more immune against Russian electronic warfare, things like that. So he does those things that I completely know nothing about. But he contacted me and he said, dude, I'm trying to fundraise for this 3D printer because I really need it for my research. And he made a fundraiser. I think it cost $1,300. He already collected $500, and he needs a bit more. So I decided to help him, and this is why there is, it's on the screen. You can see this webpage. And also, I believe that you can find the link in the chat right now. Guys, I don't do that often, especially, considering he's my biological bro, but I will be really grateful if you could help him, because he's losing hope, but at the same time, he's doing a lot for Ukrainian army of innovators, people who create different solutions for our front lines. So I will greatly appreciate if you support my bro. His name is Roman. You can also find him on X. That is, there must be a link. What type of printer? It's there in the chat. If you give me just 1 second, I will tell you exactly the type of the type of printer he sent me. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Just a second. So it's Bamboo Lab B1S 3D printer to create custom drones, protective gear, and different other solutions. So there it is. And what else? It's a big pleasure to see Dick Dawson, to see Slavie and Commander again. I missed you guys so much. Unfortunately, those weeks they were a bit crazy. I was sick, then I was lost, like so many other things. Yeah, but I'm back. I'm charged, and
Awesome.
we'll keep rolling.
So yeah, we'll keep our eyes on the donations going in for engineering for Ukraine there. That's our focus to the day. Anything that comes in directly through our hashtag Boom Boom Fund will also be put through to that PayPal address right after the show. So let's see if we can't get his brother to the goal here, because there's only like 5 days left on this fundraiser. This is not something that's just, it says right here, yeah, ends in 5 days. Let me just zoom that in for you, everybody here. See, ends in 5 days. So let's see if we can't solve that one. Commander McMillan, any thoughts on the wink? Anywhere you want to start?
I think we'll start with the North Koreans because they're kind of a small but important story.
Mm-hmm.
We get conflicting reports of how many are supposedly going to eventually get sent. The numbers vary between just 1,500 to as high as 12,000. I would guess it's somewhere at the upper end of that, but not all the way. We don't know if there'll be a second wave of troops coming. We know that some of them have already been committed to the fighting at the front and have performed miserably. Units deserting wholesale, officers getting wiped out so that the troops then don't have anybody who can tell them what to do, because the Korean troops don't speak Russian, so they can't follow orders.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought of that as a problem, did you, Vladimir?
And I mean, I've been thinking since the start of this whole thing with the Koreans. I mean, you've got a situation where Russia already treats the troops like cannon fodder as it is.
Oh, yeah.
So how disposable are these Korean bodies?
I've seen interesting speculation by some people who've said simply that none of them are ever going home. They're basically being sent there to die. And that makes sense because North Korea is such a tightly insular society that they don't want people coming back having seen something outside of North Korea and saying it's better than North Korea, which they keep telling their people is the paradise on earth.
Right.
So and there's kind of a precedent for this, because if you look at the Korean War, most of the troops that were committed, Chinese troops that were committed to fight on the North Korean side, were actually former Republic of China, Kuomintang troops. And so they were all considered tainted with, impure non-communist thoughts. So the idea was, we're going to send them to the front and we're just going to have as many of them get killed in stupid wave attacks so that we don't have to deal with them.
Right.
So that kind of mentality is not unusual over in that side of the world.
What a truly humanitarian approach to things,
yes,
right?
Just wonderful people.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reports are saying pretty much the North Koreans really don't have good training, don't have a lot of, situational awareness, combat awareness of how things are at the front. So they're making really foolish mistakes and suffering the consequences.
Their training was the equivalent of Sergeant Major marching up and down the square in Monty Python.
Yeah, kind of. We're great at doing parades in Pyongyang, but not so much fighting.
Yeah.
So there's that. Other interesting tidbits that have come up. Let's see. Australia is phasing out its M1 Abrams tanks and has gotten permission to donate them to Ukraine. So it will take a while for them to get there, obviously, but when they do, it almost doubles the number of M1 Abrams the Ukrainians will have in inventory.
And they're considered effective, right?
They are and they aren't. It's a superb tank, but it requires. It's designed to fight with the American combined arms doctrine, which presupposes that you're going to have something approaching air superiority.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's also a tank that's primarily designed for tank-on-tank engagements. And while those happen in the Ukraine war, they're not all that common. Most of the time, what tanks are being used for is heavy support fires for infantry assaults. So that makes it less effective because the gun on the M1 is primarily specifically designed to take out armored targets.
Right.
So it's not that they're bad tanks. It's just that they're not super suited to what's going on. And additionally, there aren't that many of them there. So that creates its own logistical and maintenance nightmare of every time you commit them, now you have to have a special dedicated small group of guys who know how to service that one tank. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
I was going to say there's also reports that the French, I believe, are giving Mirage aircraft to the Ukrainians.
Yes.
The same issue. It's a good plane, don't get me wrong, but the same issue with the F-16 is going to apply to those. You have to take pilots who are currently serving in operational units out and send them back to retrain on a completely new and different airframe. So it'll take time before those actually get to see operational use at the front.
Right.
So, and that's true of a lot of this stuff that people are donating to Ukraine is, even an M1 Abrams tank, it's laid out differently and the controls are different from, say, a T-72 that the Ukrainian soldiers are probably more familiar with. So they have to come out of the line for a month or two to train on those systems. So getting the better equipment is great, but it also means that you're withdrawing people from the line. And as we know, the fighting on the line right now is not going all that favorably for Ukraine. Right. The Russians are making progress at horrendous cost, but they're still making progress and advancing on most of the fronts. Right now, the estimates are the Russians are suffering somewhere between 1,200 to 1,800 casualties a day.
Whoa.
And that's not dead, that's casualties. If you want to translate it, it's basically 1/3 of that number are dead. The other 2/3 are wounded.
But with the word casualty, that does mean somebody that is now no longer in the fight, right?
That's correct. And I think another part that needs to be brought into that equation is the Ukrainians have a pretty good medical service. They have stuff set up to get people who were wounded off the front lines, get them back to hospitals, get them rehabilitated, and then, either retired if their wounds are severe enough or return to the front line if they're capable of doing so. With the Russians, the medical services are rudimentary at best, so you almost count on even relatively minor wounds after they become infected or complicated with other things. Those guys are out of the fight. Most of them are not going to return to action.
Right.
And that's even saying the ones that are actually being medically evacuated from the front lines. In many cases, we know they just kind of abandon them and leave them there to die.
Yeah.
So it's pretty grim.
I've got a little update here on Starsky's Brothers fundraiser already. So when I showed you the screen in the beginning of the show, it was at $600. It's now at $812. I can give you a few names I know are in the show here. Cheryl Waitley, John Webster, Lynn Stefanishin, Linda Hayes, Giancarlo Ishak, Tyler Dowdy, Oleski Kucherenko. And those are the ones from today. So I think, they probably came from today's shout outs. I recognize most of those names, if not all of them. And then we've also got Silver Earth in the chat. $66 direct donation for the Engineering for Ukraine Fund. And so huge thanks there, Silver Earth. Silver Earth was the one that arranged it. So, the painting got shipped to me from Ukraine. So that was super cool. Thank you again. And Joe Medley came in with $100 direct donation. That's Canadian funds for those two, right? Engineering for Ukraine as well. So a huge thanks to the big direct donators there. And then we go over to Super Chats where we've got Arthur Miller. Please pass on to Starsky's bro. Will do. We've got Mitch Dash down in with a $50 Super Chat. Romans Printer Fund. And it goes. We've got Johnny Nedregard in with a Norwegian Krona Super Chat as well. 3D all the way. And then we've got Karaoke Firehawk in with a Super Chat here. Now the F-16s have been used for a while. What do Ukrainian pilots think of them, their experiences, and so on? Starsky, have you any insight on that one?
Well, I have insight from one pilot who recently had interview. He basically says it's a very good machine. The biggest difference between, for example, MiG-29 and F-16 is that F-16 is more automated than MiG-29. MiG-29 is basically like it's a very good bird, very good flight dynamics, but at the same time, it's harder to operate physically. F-16 is much more advanced. In the air combat, of course, the pilot with bigger experience would prevail. So I cannot say that one of those airplanes is better than the other one. It's up to the pilot. But speaking of generations of aircraft, those two were created in approximately the same period of time by two different countries. And the more experienced pilot will prevail 100%. Why we have those airplanes is because I believe that all kinds of MiGs and Su-27, Su-25, Su-24 that our allies could find on their territory, they are already in Ukraine. And generally, F-16 can conduct the same operations as those above mentioned MiG-29 specifically and Su-27. But generally, it's a good airplane. Something like extremely advanced, like F-22, F-35. But at the same time, it's something that we can use right now, like fast. Okay. At the same time, I remember, like back in the days, there was this idea of receiving, and it was before the full-scale invasion. Our government considered getting turboprop airplanes. and people were, I don't remember exactly the type, but it was basically a turboprop airplane that is able to fly low and slow, and people were laughing at it because like come on, like 21st century turboprop like military airplanes, what are we talking about? But at the same time, now when we face such threat as slow flying Shahed drones that have a speed of approximately 100 nautical miles, plus minus 100 nautical miles, no, 100 knots, 100 knots. And we have really fast jet fighters like MiG-29, F-16. There are issues because remember there was this very first crash of F-16, and I just checked the info, and I noticed that the speed of the drone is 100 knots, and the stall speed of F-16 is 200 knots. So it's when you're following the drone, if you want to intercept it using your cannon, your automatic cannon, then you are risking big time because your stall speed is twice as much as the speed of the drone. What does it mean? It means that at some point you're flying slower than you should. Slower than your wing is able to produce lift for your airplane. And now I think that those turboprops that fly low and slow, they could be really handy in this situation. But speaking of F-16s, the pilots don't say like anything bad or good about them in particular. It's just good tactical airplane, good close air support airplane. It can be used for close air support and intercepting, non-ballistic cruise missiles. And there is also this video, I believe, where F-16 intercepts Russian UAV, like that extremely expensive one that Russians only had 3 of them operating, and 3 more were about to be built, but I think it will not happen. Greg, hello, my friend. How are you?
One sec, I got to add him to the show before anybody can hear him. Just give me 1 second here real quick. I didn't notice he had joined in because I was dinking around in the background. Sorry, Greg, hold on here. I'm usually not this slow, but I'll sing my way through it, and then we'll be back to good. Are you there? Any second now, he should be good. He's there.
Ooh, he looks so cool with the shades.
I was going to say that too. I like the shades.
Does anybody hear him, or is it like, is it just me that's not? No, for the love of...
He's silent.
Yeah, I'm trying to refresh his microphone here. It's not kicking in.
Yeah.
Greg, it doesn't like your microphone. I'm trying to kick it back in. Look on your screen for a little pop-up. See if it works. He is the strong, silent type.
Well, while we're waiting,
I think Greg also needs like leather jacket, leather jacket, boots, and this like very heavy German accent. He can be like, I need your pants, your clothes, and your motorcycle.
That's awesome.
Come with me if you want to live.
He's a preachinator.
It's the flannel.
Greg, if you can hear me, buddy, rejoin. It doesn't like your mic. Okay, cool, buddy. We'll just leave his thing there. I want to give a quick update here because everybody watching is properly doing an awesome job here. Our Engineering for Ukraine fundraiser, Starsky's brother, is up to 1,087 from 1,299. Or $1,299. So we're close.
Guys,
yeah, we only need like $212 or something. Yeah. Yeah, we can do this. I threw the donations we got in already. So that's we're already caught up here. Let's get that extra 212 in and we can close this out for him today. That'd be awesome.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have no idea. And by the way, I think that we should help Greg to change, image a bit. So I have like this spare leather jacket that I brought from Ukraine. I think I need to give it to him.
Yeah, we got to get an old like a Yamaha or something that looks like a Harley that we could dress up like a fat boy,
Yeah. And Greg will be like, if you want to leave, come with me.
That'd be awesome. The Preachinator. All right. Here, let's get the direct donation link in again for Starsky's Brothers fundraiser here. I will drop it right now. Hey, I hear people this time. Greg.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, buddy. You're good. All right.
Beautiful. Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for a leather trench coat and I do have the boots. I've got the boots. And so just a real quick, I don't want to interrupt your flow here, but I promised Dick I would call in. So if you look, I traveled overnight last night through Pennsylvania and down into Virginia. I'm going to be down here about 3 weeks. So my streaming schedule is off, but I came down today. So 1 o'clock Eastern, which was 2 hours and 42 minutes ago, after driving all night, I was invited to be a guest speaker about Ukraine, of all topics. And I am here. If you look behind me, the party's starting to break up. But this was a closed party of CEOs. This was a really nice party here, and state government officials, state senators, state House of Representative members, and these people want to learn the truth about Ukraine so that they can help support it better. So I had a person here invited me down for that. So that's what I'm doing here. And as you can see, yes, it's a very beautiful place. And just in the middle of the forest here in Virginia. And the whole meeting was about educating people about Ukraine. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 hours.
Great mission to be on. I like it.
It's been absolutely incredible. I can tell you, after talking, and there's some pretty big affluence here, ladies and gentlemen. Some big companies, and I know it's not American senators and House. It's state here in the state of Virginia. But these people are important decision makers and have connections and have resources. And I have already gained people here that says, man, we are so excited. And you're telling us the truth now. And we want to be helping your efforts and your work there in Ukraine. So this has been unbelievable.
That's some promising stuff because you're talking to the right people, right?
You're
in the right crowd.
You're talking to the right people. And it's just been very good. So that's the report for today, remotely. Dick, the only one I can hear right now is you. So if anybody else says anything, I can't hear them. But
okay, bummer.
That's okay. But I just wanted to give you guys a report. And I do have the boots on for Starsky.
Awesome.
Yeah. And but just wanted to shout in. You've got a great. I've been listening a little bit and showing people. But just looking around here right now, there's a huge fence company. There's a few professors from Liberty University. In fact, I just made a connection right now with the lead historical professor at Liberty University, who is actually 1,000,000%. He's a conservative, but he's 1,000,000% pro-Ukraine and has been writing articles and books about the Soviet Union and this war that is unfolding in Ukraine, predicting it all, supporting it. And I was able to meet this person, and I'm going to get them on my panel, and I'm sure, this may be somebody even Starsky would like to get in the future to pick their brain. We're talking about a freaking genius and completely supportive and very knowledgeable about Eastern Europe, about Soviet history, about the war in Ukraine. So just a lot of good things happening. So my encouragement, today for everybody is here in 10 days here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening in Ukraine right now, of course. Israel hitting Iran, but I'm telling you, man, if we will not give up and keep making relationships. So yeah, I had to give up. The last couple of days, I'm not able to to do my own live or to make a video. But man, I'm working in other ways to build relationships so that we can have more information to bring to people and more resources to help Ukraine. So. Just don't give up. Make contacts, make relationships. As Commander McMillan would say, contact your local representatives, go vote, do everything you're supposed to do. As Starsky is continually fighting the propaganda and sharing the true narrative, it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
And I need, this crowd here, probably 70% conservative, 30% liberal. And but I can tell you 100% behind Ukraine now.
Nice.
100%. And
Excellent.
they were asking questions like that was breaking the narrative, especially, I was able to destroy a lot of MAGA narratives today.
Oh, good work, buddy. Good work.
Dude, able to destroy. And now when you're, so there's like at the peak of this, like 75 people here, but influential people. Now they take it back to their companies. They take it back to their circle of friends and go, I met this guy down by a lake who just got back from Ukraine. And he works there, and he was telling us a different story than we're being told by our friends. And I think I trust him more than my friends. So it's good. This is how you do it, guys.
Yeah.
One step at a time, one contact at a time, relationship at a time. So Dick, I didn't want to miss the Shills, but just want to say thank you.
Oh.
And I'm sorry I can't hear everybody else.
Yeah, that's a bummer. It's
lose you?
tech stuff. Yeah. You still hear me? You're fading in and out there. You're getting glitchy.
It's a bummer.
Oh no. Okay, he's back.
But you look good.
Yeah.
But you look good. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry I can't hear everybody else.
Yeah, that's
But thank you guys, and
Oh. I think the tech gods have just kicked us in the teeth.
Well, it sounded to me like he was getting ready to sign off anyway. So.
Yeah, and you could tell his connection was iffy at best there. He was getting that phase thing,
Yeah.
But that was cool. Quick update here before we move on. We have the Engineering for Ukraine update. Our fundraiser is done and slightly over. We're at 103.7%. We've raised $1,347.19. So Starsky's brother can order his drone, right, or his 3D printer for engineering the new drone bodies and stuff right now.
Oh my God, guys, you are so amazing. Thank you so much. I think that he will be impressed when he wakes up. I think it will happen in an hour or so. Guys, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
And remember, everybody, you can still click that link and put a little bit more in, because what's going to happen is he's designing prototype bodies. That means filament, and more filament. If you know anything about 3D printing, he is going to be spending a butt-ton fortune in filament. So let's pad that fundraiser a bit, because he's going to need it, man. Oh, for sure. Where do you guys want to go next then? What's on your mind, Slavie? Where do you want to take us today?
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about the article that came out about Elon Musk having been talking to Putin that when that article came out, I had a pit in my stomach, and it just seems so. I mean, it's not surprising at all, but that it came out in such way, it's just the guy is completely
Yeah.
evil.
He's totally proven on multiple accounts, hasn't he, Slavie, that he only cares about the bottom line, the dollar. He doesn't care what for nothing about anybody else.
Yeah, I think the saddest part too was he was pro-Ukraine. I mean, he did in the very beginning.
Yeah.
He helped out with the Starlink, even though Ukraine had to pay for the Starlink. But I remember my uncle was saying when he was on territorial defense that Starlink helped a huge amount for Ukraine to fight back the way that it did in Kharkiv. But yeah, it's how fast he flipped, and that he bought Twitter just to, flip the narrative to be pro-Russia is so disgusting to me. And I still have a pit in my stomach. Like I've been thinking, I'm like, I don't even want to be on that platform anymore because it silenced us. A lot of pro-Ukrainian accounts do not get the same viewership as we did before.
Yeah, and it also affects people on YouTube because there's always a fallout on YouTube viewership if your ex-Twitter's viewers go down, right? Because that's a big draw. It's a cycle, right? Christoph in the chat had asked, so we might as well get to this question right now. I'll start with yourself, Slavie. Heard anything about X being partially owned by Russian oligarch? Doesn't that make so much sense when you put it all together, right?
Yeah, it's two sons of Russian oligarchs, and they're like Putin's like best friends, the two oligarchs.
And when you were talking about Starlink there was the report that Putin asked Musk not to deploy Starlink over Taiwan because China didn't want that, right?
Yeah, it was a favor to Xi Jinping by Putin.
This is the Legion of Doom, just having bedtime conversations on their telephones now, people, And
I think the worst part of it, like he plays this part of coming, like playing as a humanist, he's pro-human and evolving humanity, but here he is so evil that being so pro-Russia. I also saw that he was getting threatened by Russia and stuff like that, but since when... Are we pussies,
Yeah.
You're the richest man in the world. Like, you can take care of it.
The Starsky, with yourself doing a lot of trips around here and there in Europe and stuff and visiting people and whatnot, what's the European outlook towards Elon these days? It must be as sour as it is over here in North America.
I would not say that they care much. People who understand the situation, they don't really like him, of course. And I mean those people who support Ukraine because of what he says, all the messages that he does. But at the same time, like there's recently there was this article that we were talking about Elon Musk being on wire with Putin for quite a while, since 2022. And this is something that we should deliver to I'm talking about the message that we should deliver to our audience, because there are so many things that happen between Putin and Elon Musk. First of all, those two sons of sanctioned Russian oligarchs who helped him to acquire Twitter, they, by the way, they're employed in the company called 8VC, that is also a company that invests in subcontractors for Pentagon. So I think that security agencies already working on it, but again, it's so. I received a commentary the other day. The guys are like, two sons of Russian oligarchs invested in Twitter. Does it mean that that Russians helped Elon buy Twitter? Fucking yeah! Like, what else it is? Like, dumb fuck. Of course.
Who did the pandas? I mean, no.
Yeah, reptilians. Oh my god! Like, yeah, it's freaking obvious, no? And I came up with an idea, with like a theory in my previous video, that the reason Russians invaded Ukraine and occupied those territories that they occupied right now, right, is because the territories of Donbass that are being currently occupied are very rich in lithium. And because we're approaching the era of electric cars, of course, lithium will become very expensive soon. Currently, it's approximately 20 times 1 kilogram of lithium, even though it's like a byproduct of producing oil and stuff. But at the same time, 1 kilogram of lithium is approximately 20 times more expensive than 1 liter of oil, of crude oil. Therefore, with growing demand, the prices usually grow according to like the laws of physics and economics.
Yeah, supply and demand, right? Oh.
And soon lithium will become not extremely, but very much expensive. And what is the best solution for a dude who produces electric cars if there's like a bunch of other dudes who can sell him lithium much cheaper? Because when you save $1 on, one car, eventually you will save like a lot. Like this is how the business works. And if you save like $100-200 on a car that you sell for like extremely big prices. So there is a theory that I asked my viewers, like, how do they think? Could it be that there is a businessman who was offered by Russian terrorists cheap lithium for his cars, and at the same time there's Russian terrorists who have an influential dude in the United States who can basically spread bullshit about Ukraine, who can benefit on the taxpayers' money, because people who support Elon Musk, they have this delusion that when the war started, Elon said, I want to help Ukrainians because they're fighting for freedom. And he took like several thousand terminals and just sent them to Ukraine. No, fucking not. That's not what happened. What happened was USAID and Pentagon ordered terminals from the SpaceX, and they paid Elon Musk money of the American taxpayers. So basically, Elon Musk didn't help; the American taxpayers helped. Like that. That's what happened. And he can basically
the fame out of it, right? And he just,
yeah. So it's an extremely beneficial deal. So he has the money, he has the income from the taxpayers. He can also, meddle with the switch. He can turn it on when it's like needed. He can turn it off when there's like some crucial combat operation happening in the Black Sea, for example. And basically, it's a beautiful cooperation. That is the answer to all your questions. Why Musk started all of a sudden supporting Putin, calling Ukrainians to give up all the territories, because generally, if we take a look at what he said about Ukraine, like back in the days, Ukraine-Russia peace. Point number 1, redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if this is will of the people. Point number 2, Crimea formally part of Russia as it has been since 1783 until Khrushchev's mistake. Point number 3, water supply to Crimea assured. Point number 4, Ukraine remains neutral. So basically, Ukrainians just give up. Just die already, right? Because it's like we're so tired of you, and let Russia prevail. Basically, this is something that was dictated to Elon Musk by freaking Putin himself. I think so, or it was approved
100%.
by him. So he would spread that, and if we take a look, for example, at the declassified data from the FBI when they were presenting their investigation on the social design group, the social design agency, the Russian company that is responsible for all the hordes of, like, all the millions of fake people on X that are not being deleted by X, that are not being blocked by X, because they are allowed to be there.
Well, it works
by
for them
Elon
both,
Musk
right?
himself.
He gets to count
Yeah.
users and interactions and all that, and they get to push their bullshit. Everybody wins for that group of people, right?
Absolutely.
Awful.
And then there was this meme when President Zelensky sits there, very tense, and it's like when you didn't ask for somebody's money for 5 minutes, and Elon Musk posted it. So this meme was created by an ethnic Russian employer of this social design agency. How did it get to Musk? Who knows? But literally, if you think that Musk is the dude, who supports freedom and stuff, and who stands for justice thing, guys, you are so much deluded. Oh my God, be careful with this man.
Elon
seriously.
totally believes in free speech, but only his own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was all guys under this free speech, because I know so many of my friends are but he's a free speech absolutist. How can he possibly be for Russia? I was like, come on, guys. It's all a facade.
Yeah.
There's another element that a lot of people don't understand or realize is going on. Musk has invested heavily in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And one of the groups that really is pushing cryptocurrency is the Russian mob. And there's growing evidence that there's an arrangement going on between the mob, the Kremlin, and Musk, that what they're going to try to do is replace, regular state-supported currency with crypto, which basically puts them in the driver's seat for the entire global financial situation.
Oh, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Let me
all
just-
love
Russians actually, Russians have no other choice because Russians are being sanctioned. Their banks are being sanctioned. Who
You
knows?
can't spend rubles, so you got to spend it as crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And, with watching crypto gaining ground and whatnot, I can only imagine, they're loving every minute of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, I think that, it looks like a beautiful cooperation between two parties. One amazing businessman, successful guy from the United States, and a Russian superpower that has to invest in cryptocurrency because their own banks are being sanctioned. It's absolutely beautiful. When you think about it, it's the coolest alliance you can imagine. Only, guys, you gotta be very, very extremely cautious with Elon Musk, because this dude is he's so cunning.
Yeah.
And the way he pushes this bullshit. The other day I watched YouTube video from Hank Green. Hank Green is an extremely smart guy. He's into science and he's well known around YouTube.
Yeah.
I would like to contact him somehow, because he's the one who eats flat earthers on breakfast. He's extremely cool. And he basically checked what kind of bullshit Elon Musk retweeted in just 24 hours. And there's a lot of bullshit that was literally debunked already. And he just keeps, keeps throwing that as if he's just being, dictated, or his Twitter account is being run by other people. It's insane.
Awesome. This is the dude you're talking about, right? Here, Hank's channel, Hank Green. Is that it?
Yeah, Hank Green. He's an extremely cool guy, friends. If you want to learn something new, just click any random video. You will be impressed. Like he's one of those people that I extremely respect, and I never miss their videos.
Cool. I'll have to check them out. I'm going to run down a few super chat shout outs here and stuff. We got Match Leech Music in twice for a couple of $5 shout outs there. We'll throw them in the fundy. Thank you there, Matt Leach. Joe Medley gifting out 10 Shills memberships. Bounce, Mario, bounce. Thanks, Joe Medley. That's awesome. Shills membership gifting is always appreciated. SSW Custom Sewing in with a super chat. Please channel hop and say hello at Slavie's channel. Good shout indeed. We'll get the link in the YouTube chat there so everybody can go on and add themselves to the subscriber list, because you should. Great stuff. Good shout, SSW. Darren Vaughn in with a super chat. Slavie's show was great today. Oh, I haven't had a chance to go and watch yet, so you're making me look stupid. Thanks, Derek. No, but I'm sure you're right, because like we were just saying, it's great stuff. You got to go and get sub to Slavie's channel, everybody. Absolutely. Do what you're told, damn it. Johnny Negregard comes in with Norwegian Kroner donation there for the plastic. Oh, good shout. And then Darren Vaughn in again with another one here. Elon Musk exists because of government subsidies, which he now argues against. Hypocrite. Yeah. Oh, man. You know, Tesla wouldn't even exist without all those rebates and whatnot. And, you know, I mean, seriously, it's the only way they even survived at first. Great shout.
I hope all of that can go away. If Kamala wins, I really hope he'll go to prison and take away all his government contracts, because he's dangerous. He's dangerous since he's collaborating with Putin.
Yeah.
How can he be part of the, security of the American government?
I know. And then you got the orange painted idiot saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to bring Elon in and make him part of things." I mean, what? You don't invite the bank robber to Fort Knox.
Yeah.
The other day, I watched another video, which I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Because, guys, if you want to learn something, you gotta listen to smarter people. You gotta broader your horizons, right? And Neil deGrasse Tyson basically says that there was this feud between him and Elon Musk because people say that Elon Musk's SpaceX opened new frontiers of the space, and he's gonna send like unmanned mission to Mars, etc. And Neil deGrasse Tyson says basically no, like he does what NASA has been doing for like 60 years already, like nothing new. Yes, he improves, like from the engineering standpoint, he improves all the engineering aspects of
not him, his company.
His engineers do.
Yeah, exactly. And when we talk about things like sending people to Mars, there are investors who will always ask you about the return of investment. They will ask, can those people die on their way there? Yeah, probably. Is it dangerous? Yeah, apparently. Will it bring any income? I cannot tell you right now. So basically, sorry, that talk will only take like 5 minutes. But generally, he didn't conquer any new frontiers. Yes, he did some really cool things with like returning, again, not himself, but his engineers, with returning modules, because it's important, but at the same time, like speaking of somebody conquering new frontiers of the space, it's as if he went like to Saturn and collected some dust from his circles and returned. Like, no, it didn't happen. So he's we're not saying that he didn't do anything, but speaking that he opened new frontiers, it's an exaggeration. It's a good marketing, I agree, but at the same time, NASA is doing that like 60 years already, since like 1962.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. It's this you're mistaking modern social media hype for the reality of this situation, right? Very much so. Very much so. I got to say though, that whole catch with the part of the rocket with SpaceX there, and they caught it with the thingy, that was properly crazy to see,
But do you know why they did it now? The timing?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Somebody get the circus dancing. Holy God, do we got to get the media attention somewhere else here? Yeah, very much. I'm just going to do a tech thing in the background to try to fix something here. The darn big window goes blurry every now and then. So I'm just going to change the way it's being captured and see if maybe this can fix it up. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's see here. We'll do an update here over on Starsky's Bros Fundy, and we have it at 1367. So we've added a little bit more to get some extra filament on. Good job, everybody. Thank you, huge. Awesome.
Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you so much. You are my heroes.
Yeah, we haven't even been live for an hour.
My bro will be extremely surprised when he wakes up.
Yeah, great job, everybody, for sure. We got Michaels in the chat here with a super chat as well. Love to Starsky, Slavie, Lance, Dick, and the Shill babies. Hey, good shout out. Thank you there. Thank you so much. Where should we go now? I'll freely admit, you know how we always say around here, we got such a great team, it's not funny. Well, pre-show for this show, Annette, who's usually around but is so busy getting in the run-up for her move out west again, she usually gives Commander McMillan, myself, and a few like a Ukraine update where we've got all kinds of headlines and stuff, and we can just use it to direct the conversation anytime we need. We don't have that. And I am so lost without my extra preparation. I got a couple of questions from the viewers, so that's where I'm going to save myself and flip this around. We got Jimmy Hagan in the chat. Is there any truth that UN General Secretary Gutierrez is listed on Miro Verts? Is that it? Terrorist kill list? I do not know much about that site, but the story is being promoted by pro-Russian chains.
Oh my God! I think that soon he will appear on like photoshopped killing lists, just like Elon Musk, But generally, what happened? He decided to go to Ukraine right after having Karavai, vodka, and chak in Kazan. He decided to go to Ukraine to visit President Zelensky, and President Zelensky said, "No, we don't want to see you here because." The dude went to a terrorist country. He met like terrorist leadership, Putin, that is basically wanted by the International Crime Court. Therefore, he's not really invited to Ukraine anymore.
I think there's a petition so he like steps down from his spot.
Yeah, there were talks in the United Nations. There were different representatives of European countries that were calling him to step down. And this is something that, generally speaking, he has to do. That would be really good because United Nations are so ridiculous right now. They were created to promote peace and collective security. At the same time, the dude goes to a country that is recognized by European countries as a terrorist country and meets wanted war criminals. That is absolutely insane. But again, it shows that unfortunately United Nations lost balls and needs to be either reformed or it needs to be removed because they don't do anything from what they were created for. They don't do anything of that.
Well, you got Russia as well at the head UN Security Council. I mean, ridiculous.
That's the biggest joke of Russia and Security Council can actually be in the same sentence without it being like never or a negative. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. I can't. And it's not a joke. That's like. Oh, blows me away.
You're cutting out.
Oh, my mic? Am I okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but
Okay.
Guys,
I
we have
asked
another
if-
update.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Commander, I'm sorry, just a short one. We have a small update from Ukraine. We have another air alert, and it is reported that there are explosions in Kyiv. Also, yesterday there was this crazy attack. I had a live stream with Galen Robertson, and he was telling about his experience of going to Kherson. And the air alert started like during the live stream, and during this live stream, one of the Shaheds crashed into a house, killing a 15-year-old girl. And there were also several strikes in the Kyiv Oblast. One of them, unfortunately, led to death of a Ukrainian teacher. She was wounded with a fragment in her stomach, and unfortunately, doctors could not save her, and she passed away today. So, unfortunately, we have such tragic updates, but this is a Ukrainian reality.
Damn. Yeah, that's the thing about like an ongoing war. I don't even like calling it a war because it's not. It's one country repelling another's invasion, right? We should, always say it correctly to make sure. But that's the reality part that really sucks. It can really get you. You get that moment where something good happens, and then you get and it can really put you on a roller coaster ride. I can't imagine what it's like for people actually living through it. I can't. Commander, Oh, go ahead, Starsky. Sorry, I think we all got a tiny bit of latency going today.
Yep.
So we just have to watch that. Yep.
Yeah, Commander, please go
on. I was going to just say that the situation with the front lines, I think it looks like things are starting to slowly stabilize. I suspect that's partially because the weather is starting to turn. But as I said earlier in the show, the Russians are still making progress, albeit at great cost. The thing that I find interesting is looking at the numbers of military equipment systems and such that they've been losing. They're going to be running short of modern stuff very quickly. I mean, we already know they're tapping into T-62, which is the tank from the middle of the Cold War era. I wonder how long it's going to be before they start having to reach in as far as T-55s. So yeah, it's. I think this is a question of how long Russia can last still fielding a competent and well-equipped army. We know they have the population numbers to keep drawing on because they don't care about the losses. But as the quality and training and the quality of the equipment keeps declining, I think Ukraine's opposite end of that spectrum, where they have better equipment and better training, is going to start paying off fairly significantly.
Good. Sorry, 1 second here. Starsky just sent me something that I'm queuing up right now.
Sure.
You gotta love it. Seriously.
I can't believe my freaking eyes. Okay. Here, let me just move things around quick so I can figure this out. Here we go. Okay. So The intro at Starsky. I mean, yeah. This. Look.
So, guys, what we can see here is basically Russian World War II tanks that were brought from the storages. They were noticed in one of the Russian training grounds, like several days ago. Today, this video became viral, and we can see T-34. We can see East 2, East 3. Yeah, those older tanks, and. I remember in like 2022, I was asked this question, whether will we see like Russian T-34 rolling into combat, and I was laughing at it. I don't know what to do now, guys, because that's exactly what we see.
I remember in the earliest days of streaming together, Starsky, we on the odd time we would get questions, because at that point they were already getting reports of old equipment, and you'd get the odd question about crap like this, and we're actually seeing it. Let me just do that again. So here, is that as slow as I can play it? Yeah. Okay, here. Especially just on the left here, it's going to swing around right there. That bad boy's looking real new.
Well, that's actually a T-72. That's a JS-152. That's a World War II era tank.
Okay.
That's a T-34-85. I can't see what's past it.
Yeah. Sorry about the jerky around thing.
How many FPV drones would it take to take one of these bad boys out?
Half of one?
Half of one.
Lob a pigeon at it. God.
Yeah, a pigeon with a M80 firework on it, right? Firecracker.
Wow. I mean, we joke about it, but the reality is, it's a gun. It can fire that projectile, and
That's
it can
true.
kill people.
Yeah.
And as long as you're willing to say, well, I'm going to expose the 4 or 5 crewmen in this vehicle to probably getting killed in order to kill 1 or 2 Ukrainian soldiers, unfortunately, that's still kind of working in Russia's favor.
Yeah.
Friends, another thing. Sorry for interrupting. My bro woke up. He will either write something in the chat right now, or he will pass a message to me, because I sincerely wanted to invite him to one of my streams, but he had like a tiny surgery, and he didn't sleep well tonight. But let's expect some message from him.
Awesome. Well, I hope you woke up happy if you're listening, because Fundy's done. All wrapped. Got you covered, man. Awesome. Okay, a couple of questions here. I think it's Christoph Krohn. Is that how I would say it? That's how my Canadian tongue says it, so I'll try to get better. How does it happen the Ukraine funding passed the Congress now that the reps are completely mad about Ukraine? Commander, you want to jump on that?
I'm not sure I followed the question. Repeat it for me.
How does it happen the Ukraine funding passed the Congress now that the reps are completely reps are completely mad about Ukraine? It's probably Republicans, right?
Yeah, I assume that he's referring to that. I think some of the Republican senators and congressional representatives are starting to worry about what the fallout will be after the election, assuming the orange shit gibbon doesn't win.
Right.
And so they're beginning to temper some of their criticism to make it look like, oh, no, I was never a true MAGA guy. I voted in favor of this package, that kind of stuff. They're
right.
looking out for themselves.
Right.
I'm not going to make a stink about it because it's working in our favor, but it's kind of hypocritical in a lot of ways, since most of these guys spend a lot of time, go back 6 months or a year ago,
Yeah.
screaming about how it was such a waste of America's time and money to support Ukraine.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit like a dog dragging its ass in the grass, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there was another one here from Liz Mailer in the chat there. Does the commander think that Russia might do something before the election? Any moves before?
Oh, I definitely think that they're going to try something. But they're running out of time. That's the issue.
Did the North
You
Korean
can't pull the trick on election day or the day before election day. You need to make sure there's enough time to get it into the news cycle and for people to see about how it's affecting things.
Is that in itself also partially why we got North Koreans bobbing around like weeble wobbles, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that's part of what was going on, was to try to get that. Oh no, if we continue supporting Ukraine, then we'll have a war break out on the Korean Peninsula, and our boys and girls will all go die in Korea, and that kind of thing is part of what I'm sure entered into the calculus of why they did that then. But the whole Korean thing, there's so much, it's a very nuanced and multifaceted decision. I still think a significant portion of why he did that with the North Koreans is because he's trying to serve China with a warning that don't you dare try to move on the Russian Far East while we're tied up in this war with Ukraine. Because look, we have an ally over here who has the second largest army in the world.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
They carry sticks and rocks, but
well, yeah, but as we've seen, it doesn't really matter how primitive the armament is if you've got enough dedicated people to die.
Yeah. Crazy enough, right?
It's crazy, friends. I talked to Ali today, and she said, like, for as long as I remember myself, Americans were always like against Russians. What happened today? And like it's crazy. Like, for as long as I remember myself, Americans were always. They were always friendly, open people who would they would never say like, fuck you, I'm a nationalist, They would always talk to you, learn more about you, learn more about your food, learn some kind of phrases and stuff like that. Yeah. And at the same time, they always hated Russians because Russians were their adversaries. Now it's freaking vice versa. Now it's, oh my God. Of course, I'm not talking about like all Americans, because there's plenty of decent people, but how did it happen that, times changing so dramatically, and at the same time, the main adversary of American people that is saying every single day in their national television that they want to see like demise of the United States, they will die, like, they will take Alaska back and stuff. And at the same time, they spread this message that Russia is not your enemy on Twitter. And it's like one of the most popular hashtags nowadays. And there are idiots who say like, it's better to be Russian than like Democrats. What the fuck are you? Are you crazy?
And you don't have to go back that far in American history to the point where it didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat. It was better dead than red.
Yeah, I think a lot of what explains it is you have to look at the people who are the movers and shakers behind the Republican MAGA movement.
Yeah.
And many of them have been co-opted, or, for lack of a better word, bought by Russian money. For example, the Koch brothers. They're oil barons. What is Russia's primary export at this point?
Yeah.
oil. So if those two groups get together and collude to try to manipulate prices to benefit themselves, you see the obvious reason that suddenly, oh yeah, this works. Plus, it's the whole concept of oligarchy and the, democracy is bad because now we have to answer to all these little people. If we could just make our own rules, well, the Russians have that. That works beautifully. So they're natural allies for these people who have, over 50% of America's wealth in their pockets right now.
Yeah, which is a freaking lot of wealth, man.
Yeah.
Friends, we have a message from my bro. He says, "Hey everyone, I just wanted to send a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting my fundraiser. Your support and generosity has honestly blown me away and left me feeling incredibly inspired. It means the world to me, guys." Thank you so much from me as well. As soon as he feels a little bit better, I think that we should invite him as well, probably to the Shills.
Definitely. I'd love to have him over for a hangout and let him know, as things go, when supplies are needed and stuff, to just drop a line and we'll do a quick fundraiser,
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, he's working for the cause in a big way. I mean, he's doing the, engineering and background work that make things better. This is a good cause. It's not just your brother, although that kind of is enough of a reason anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much again, everybody. That fundraiser has just, that was awesome. We got that taken care of in no time. We've added a little bit extra. We got it up to $1,377.19, as you can see there. So he'll get to order some extra filament and whatnot. But as I was saying earlier, he's drawing up prototypes and he's going to be doing some testing and whatnot. So there is going to be a lot of filament to go through. We will be raising a few bucks for him again coming up soon for sure. And feel free to throw a few extra in the pot right now. Right here, let me get the link back in. Very cool indeed. I'm big on engineering, more so than software engineering. I really like the physical hardware engineering. I'd love to be on a team where we design a cool little 2-liter 12-cylinder engine for a car that screams to 15,000 RPM, but's economical at the same time, is super fun. But
runs on water.
Yeah. Well, I've already dreamed enough. Why shouldn't I? Yeah. We got, let's see here. We got some shout outs to run through here. So, Feralzen, is that right? Feralzen in the chat there, super chat. Good thing that Zelensky told the truth to the UN joke. That's a good shout. That's a good one. And Paul Gilbert in the chat there. Woohoo! When Stalin invaded Poland, the USSR was kicked out of the League of Nations. Same should apply to Russia and the UN. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. They have no business being in any of those groups, especially when they're doing the Legion of Doom right now. Right? Screw that. Camilla Matson in the chat there. Swedish kroner, 65 of them, I believe that is. I comes from Israel that 100 Hamas was paid by UN. Oh, okay. We'll give a little shout on that one as well. Thanks there, Camilla. Cats member. Hey, Cats. Hey, everyone. Slavie, Ukraine. Heroyam Slava. Great shout, Cats. Good to see you. And then Petra Olsen with her standard super chat of 129 Swedish krona with love to Ukraine. And that's the quit smoking and support Ukraine message that Petra is always pushing. I'm still failing, but others can succeed in my failure. So it's a worthy thing. Good shout, Petra. I think we're caught up. Where do we want to go now?
Well, I know it's not specifically linked to Ukraine, but I think we ought to at least address the fact that we had that Israeli attack against Iran.
Yeah.
And I say that because I think the foundation of why that occurred and how we got to this point, I think Russia's fingers are definitely in that piece of pie.
It makes total sense, right?
Well, because
thank you for saying it. I was thinking it, but didn't dare to say it. But yeah.
I mean, if you distract the U.S. with another flare-up, then it means less focus in this country on trying to help Ukraine because we're dealing with our own or another ally's problem elsewhere. I think.
Well, you've got that whole American thing where there's an absolute, without question, support for Israel on basically all things. I think there's some people getting a little queasy on it because of certain aspects of the conflict and stuff. I don't really want to get into all that, but it's a very easy way to go, oh, okay, wait a minute. Now we have to juggle our funds because we also have to play with our friends here, right? And you know what I mean? And you know, to think about the Russian arsenal, I can totally see them looking and going, well, these ones here aren't really that useful to us, but for Iran, they would be really great. So let's just shuffle off a little armament here and there, a couple of missiles or whatever, and boom. Right?
Yeah. You know, if the problem is, okay, the Israeli Air Force is attacking Iran, you say, here, we'll give you some of our older air defense systems, and you give us another crop of Shaheds.
That's right.
Well, didn't Israel get like top of the line, like something? Only United States has like maybe 6 of them, and Israel got 1 of them, air defense, like super high tech.
Yeah,
they very well may have done that. It would not surprise me in the least.
Yeah,
I read
and
this
next
as well.
day delivery too. Next day delivery, crazy.
Yeah, but if it's an air defense system, I can arguably see them doing that because you can't really use that in an offensive role. So, you know, you can't shoot surface to air missiles at innocent Palestinians in Gaza.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out, it's THAAD, which is Theater Anti-Ballistic Missile Air Defense System or something like that. But it's kind of like, for lack of a better word, Super Patriot missiles.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about.
We had a direct donation come in from Natugala. Yeah, I think so. Natugala HK. There's certain ones that screw me up, and this is one of them. I'm sorry. It's a 15 Canadian direct donation, and I'll spin that into Starsky's Brothers Fund as soon as the show is over. So huge thanks there. I'll try to pronounce the name better next time. I will say this. I have finally admitted to myself how bad my eyesight is getting. I've got big monitors, and even sizing up the text isn't really working anymore. So I'm going to book an eye appointment, and soon I'll be wearing glasses, but damn it, I'll be able to read better.
Guys, I think my bro is now obliged to join Shills and my stream as well. As soon as he feels better, I'm just dragging him here, and I really hope that we will talk next week, next Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So it's extremely cool because he tells me that there's so many things that he has to do, but literally he cannot do it because he lacks a 3D printer to print things, to print the parts. So guys, once again, thank you so much for your support.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to have him on. He'll love hanging out with us, I'm sure. So, it'll be good. And I can't wait to hear like a little bit about engineering, at least anything that he can share, that's not giving the ghost away or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. I was very much interested in a conversation like that. Awesome.
You will need to create another baby Starsky picture.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll get dunk on it for sure. Yeah, yeah. Send me a pic of them and we'll do one up because then we could do one of the brothers, you know? That'd be really funny. We can have the two of you like drinking beer in your crib together or something.
Oh, God.
If anybody watching doesn't know what I mean, at the end of the show, I'll hit the stinger and I'll show you the baby Starsky thing. Slavie's hiding her face.
It's the creepiest thing ever. Just don't want people to be like, "Oh, that's so cute," and then they see that.
Yeah. It's very funny. It's awesome. And then we also got the Sharksky one. The real Vladimir Putin in the chat there saying Sharksky. Everyone loves that one. Man, when we made the the Sharksky stinger, we tried so hard to use the Jaws music, doom, you know, and it just blocked on YouTube, and we ended up just having to come up with our own thing. It was a shame because it was really cool.
Yeah, and currently you gotta, I don't know, like make your own music. I decided that I need to like reinstall all of the soft I used to create music, as I will be making freaking soundtracks for my videos myself.
Oh, that's what I'm about to start doing too, dude.
Yeah,
I've got Logic all set up now, and I finally got it. My whole thing. I'm about to go and see a guy to buy a bass guitar off him. So because I don't want to program bass guitar, I don't mind programming drums, right? But you know, I want to play the damn guitars. I can't wait. Yeah, we're going to have some custom music on the show again here coming up soon. I'm finally set up again. But doesn't it, you get that whole thing, you start getting excited about even the thought of getting into it again. Like, oh yeah, man.
Absolutely. I even today, you know, I was like lying down lazily watching those like old videos of like Marilyn Manson, you know, stuff, and I realized that, damn it, if I start doing it again, it will probably eat like another part of my life that is dedicated to sleeping, basically. But
yeah,
it's just so good.
Yeah,
and my girl told me like we gotta buy you you know, like a keyboard. I'm like, don't, because I will just get lost.
Oh, it's awesome though. You know, we should collaborate on a track. You know, I'll throw a couple of guitar riffs down and whatnot. See, you know, grab what you like and you know, put it into and you know, arrange it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta make some vocals, you know, scare the shit out of my neighbors here. But on the other hand, when I lived in Kiev, my old neighbors were like 80 plus, you know, like 80, 90. Right. So it was really easy to scare them. The other day, I'm sitting here on the stream and I hear like this dude playing Slipknot on a guitar, like above me. I'm like, I gotta visit this guy.
Yeah. I was actually sitting in my living room a couple of days ago. It was 20 plus C outside. I'm in the little hot region up in Canada, right? So it's still decent weather. Had the windows open, you know, was enjoying a cold can of beer, playing a couple of Bob Marley songs on my acoustic. And after the second song, I heard some clapping. And like 7 of my neighbors were outside the damn window listening to me. It was funny.
Oh, you know? Music is so cool because, you know, music brings cool emotions.
Yeah, man.
And it's, you know, one thing when like you want to do something good for others, you know, like you're like scanning the streets, you know, looking for people to help them carry something, or I don't know, like you want to be a better person. At the same time, when you're a musician, like you already have it, you can just share your music with people, make them feel happier, and it's just so cool. That is something I'm missing. Of course, unless you're making like a freaking metalcore like I do, because it scares the crap out of like 50% of the audience, but at the same time it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I do that too, right? You know, I pick up my electric and start playing, and I play some heavy stuff and some real, you know, flailing guitar solo things, and you get people that aren't expecting it, and they're just like, "What the hell was that?" Meanwhile, I'm like, freaking out. I love it. It's great. I call it musical masturbation when you just simply let it out, man.
Yeah.
So a couple of shout outs here I'll get caught up on here. Carl Jacobson put in all the beautiful Ukraine hearts and flags. Thank you very much. Cool member message. And then we got Johnny Nedregard in with a super chat here to family with big hearts. Norwegian 22 krona there. And then we got Darren Vaughn in. Play the Trees by Rush. Rush are one of those bands that'll give us a lot of trouble if we turn this into a DJ day and just start jamming tunes. But there is an argument to be said that we could maybe put on like a live performance of a Rush tune or something in the future on like a pub chat, maybe we could do a pub chat coming up where we get like Liam Wakefield and a few people that I know that can just sit down and play live music. What's his name? Chris Durham, amazing pianist. And we just do a show where we just jam some live tunes, take turns, go around the room, that'd be pretty fun.
Sounds really cool.
We could even bring the viewers in and do a little karaoke action with one of those sync apps, that would be fun,
Yeah, I would love to see that. Can we do something like, LP did with, she made a video and she sings like one part of the song and then her viewers can like join and sing the other part of the song. That is so kick-ass.
Yeah, there's a service we could use that would help sync for zero latency so that people can do this properly. And we could crowdsource a song live on a show, man.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
Wouldn't that be cool? Just, okay, who's a musician? Okay, plug your gear in. Everybody go get a beer, cup of tea or whatever. We'll give it 5 minutes and hang out. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, here's the drum track we're going to start with. Who's bass player? Okay, here, you lay it in. All right, there we go. That'd be some badass fun. Oh, yeah. Get your beer fridges filled. What do we got here? Oh, okay, we're okay for time. We got like 20 minutes or so. Is there anything we should touch on before we just, turn this into a hangout? We so often do that. I'm sure food's going to come up any minute now. It always does.
That's always our fallback.
Yeah. It's funny. I've been doing the thing where this fish tank here, I've been slowly getting rid of the fake plants and putting real plants in. Get out of my way, Apple. I don't need that right now. And this tank is now almost set to the point where I don't even need to bother with water changes because the cycle is so perfectly complete. So if you know anything about fish tanks, yeah, I made it. Right?
Starsky, somebody is saying on my stream, Prepper Nation is saying it, that Starsky needs to write a metal song about vareniki.
Oh, hashtag not pierogi.
Yeah, and by the way, Dick Dawson knows the difference, which I don't know basically myself. Like I'm a Ukrainian, but the difference between them is literally just a name. I would definitely do that. Varenics of Doom, I would call it this way.
I love it. Oh, death metal song about the building and cooking of said not hashtag pierogi. Oh, see, that's another thing. So in crowd doing a song, we could also have it so each person writes a line and we just see what the lyrics are at the end, right?
Oh, that's fun. I used to play that with friends and it's a lot of fun.
Oh shit!
Awesome.
I'm already writing lyrics in my head, like to eat or not to eat Varenics with the Russian meat. That this is black metal, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Ooh.
That was awesome. Oh yeah, creativity on display for you right there, people, and we don't even charge you to show up.
Meek Riley in the chat asks, "Do you need a triangle guy? There is no music without, there is no metal music without a triangle guy. You're in the team already."
And
More cowbell.
I was just going to say, bring your brother because we
Cowbell.
need a cowbell player. But you never know. We could end up with somebody playing oboe, and we could have like a tuba, and we could have somebody who has like one of those theremin, whatever they're called, the
Theremin?
Theremin. Yeah, be freaking.
So somebody in the chat stream, unfortunately I didn't make note of the name, suggested that the Ukrainian forces up in the Kursk salient might want to have a delivery of propaganda leaflets to drop on the North Korean units when they identify where they are. That, drop a couple of little sweets, promise unlimited kimchi if you defect.
Yeah.
They'd all come across.
I've seen a lot of memes coming out of, I think, Ukraine about North Koreans fighting, and some of them have like the little mouse trap with cheese because they're hungry, right?
Yep. Oh,
so
yeah.
There's a lot that has been going around.
You know what I would do is I would buy up a whole bunch of cheap old iPod touches because they're no good anymore. And I would load them up with Western pornography and drop it on the North Korean soldiers because then they'll just stand there and do nothing, right?
They will be very much confused. They will be like, what the hell is that? Like, I've never seen it before. Like, what do you do with it?
No,
that will kill him, bro.
I still think the ultimate is the promise of unlimited kimchi.
Could be, but on the other hand, the other day, I think I had a stream with, I think it was Arthur Ray. I think. And he asked me, like, do you imagine like this? Like, North Koreans are the first dudes from North Korea who like arrive to Russia, look around, and then they're like, fuck it, let's go home. And they go back to the North
Korea. It's a humorous concept, but considering what I've seen and I know from listening to defectors North Korean defectors to South Korea who are being interviewed, trust me, as bad as the situation in rural backwoods Russia may be, it looks like the palace compared to what most North Koreans are living in.
Yeah. Oh
my God.
One of my favorite stories was a family who only had one set of work clothes. So dad would go to work, and when he came home, he'd give mom the work clothes and she'd put them on, and she'd go to work. And when she came home, then it would go to the eldest son, and then it would go back to dad, and they rotated the one suit of work clothes that they had.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Yeah. Conditions in North Korea are just hideous. It's the only word that applies. It's like living in the dark ages.
Yeah, like the whole country's kind of just a prison camp.
Oh yeah, it's a giant not even self-supporting prison camp.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize that it happens fairly frequently when a bad harvest hits in North Korea, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of North Koreans starve to death.
Yeah.
Because the government will not pay to import food to feed them.
No.
Because it's far more important to make sure that the glorious leader gets all the cognac and Cuban cigars he needs to live in the proper style.
Yeah. I can't understand how the people don't see that those in charge have plenty and everybody else has nothing, and don't just, eventually go, well, this is unsustainable. And
Well, in many totalitarian societies where you have, secret government organizations that monitor and track and report on every little thing everybody does. The moment you have somebody, identified as, oh, he said something that was disparaging of the great leader, or even his supervisor at the factory, they disappear. And in North Korea, it's not just they disappear, it's like the entire family disappears.
Right. Right. Jeez.
Yeah.
What there's that whole thing where you're born is kind of luck of the draw. It's not like it's not like we get to pick, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know what the greatest South Korean nightmare scenario is? That North Korea collapses and they're forced to reintegrate with South Korea.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because the economic drain on what is one of Asia's great economies
would be disastrous.
Just to bring those people up to, like the 1900s.
Yeah.
Would be huge. And their standard of living, their economy would just be dragged into the abyss because of how bad things are. So, yeah, it's like we talk about reunification, but yeah, we're all scared shitless of it if it actually happens.
Yeah. A couple of super chats here. Darren Vaughn came in with a good one. We want Dunk on Saturday shows. Yeah, man. It sucks, but it's timing right now with commitments in life and stuff. It's just not working out. But we're hoping it does switch around soon and he'll be able to be back on the Saturday show because absolutely, that would be great. And then we got Nurse Sean in the chat with a super chat as well. I have a fantasy about going to Kyiv and going to the main street with a sign. For God's sakes, I would then go to my best place to help. Okay, so here, hold on. Can anybody read that? You see it in the bottom of the screen there under me? Well, when anybody, I mean, probably Starsky.
Bro, it's so blurry. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, I know. It's doing that thing today. Here, I'll send it over to you on
something there. Victory about Vareniki and victory.
Okay.
I don't understand the first word. It's too small, but
Varenics will also work for the victory.
Okay, cool.
No. He says will work for victory and Varenics.
Okay. Yeah, there was no way I was going to get that. And it was easier to pass it off to somebody who can read it than try to translate it in the background. So, cool one there, Nurse Sean. Thank you. What do we got here? 1:44 live time, that is. We're almost 2:00 Pacific. Okay, I am pushing on close to time. So let's do a double catch up here. Make sure we've got Starsky, we've got your brother's fundraiser up to 1437 now. So yeah, that's
awesome.
Good. That's a couple of extra spools of filament for sure, right? That'll really help. So big shout out to everybody for helping to fulfill the dream today. Love the viewers on the Shills. Wow, do we get some of the best people online ever. And y'all don't play drama either, so I really like that because I don't like that stuff. Let's kick into any last thoughts and whatnot stuff. Slavie, what do you think?
Cool stream today, guys. Starsky missed you a lot over here for the last couple of weeks. Don't forget to go to my page, check out my recent video. It's about Zelensky's victory plan and how important it is. I do have a part 2 coming out on Sunday or Monday. We'll see. And that one will be about how Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson are, disinformation agents paid by Russian RT. So stick around for that part 2 of that video. I worked really, really hard on it, so make sure you check it out. I think it's my best one yet. And keep supporting Ukraine, keep sharing Ukraine's stories, and Slava Ukraini.
Heroem
Heroem
Slava.
Slava.
Good shout. Yeah, here, let me get the link for everybody in the live chat. Here's the link right here. Go and hit over to Slavie's channel and get yourself subbed up. And if you don't do it, I have the ability to find out where you live. Don't make me do it. Michael's in the chat with a super chat. Starsky, Slavie, Lance, Dick, Mods, boom, boom, big hearts. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. And let me double check over here. We're caught up. Starsky, what do you think, buddy?
I think it was an impressive stream. Thank you so much, my friends, for helping my brother. And guys, you are amazing. You know that. I love you. And I'm so happy that we have such a great supportive community of decent people around the world. I'm really, really happy to see you today. Finally, first time for several weeks. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting my people. And this is the proper thing to do. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Commander McMillan, what do you think, buddy?
Well, I'll throw out my usual that I'm going to do. Everybody knows if they watch the show. Please communicate with your elected officials, text them, phone them, email them, write a letter or a postcard. Just make sure they know that Ukraine is important to you and you want the government to continue to fully support Ukraine. The second thing I will point out that I'm sure everybody globally is aware of, we are all holding our breath for what happens in 12 days. That will really determine, I hate to say it, but it will determine to a large extent the fate of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that it happens the right way.
Yeah. And on that note, it's election time. It's crunch time right now. If you have anybody you haven't spoken to make sure they understand the importance of this election and how important it is not to feed into the mega rhetoric and vote properly, extend your voice, make yourself heard, do what you can. This is crunch time, and it's the world is going to be a seriously shitty place within a few years if that orange painted maggot gets into office. We can't have it. Maggot. That's it. Donald Trump, you're a fucking maggot from now until the end of of your days.
The end
as
of
far
time.
as I'm concerned. Yeah. Huge thanks to everybody for helping with Starsky's Brothers fundraiser there. We blew past the goal. We got up to 1437, and which is great because now he's got a little bit extra to spend on some extra filament. We're going to have him on next week on the Shills. We're going to get to sit down and talk to somebody who's actually got some engineering knowledge, and it'll be a really cool chat. Plus, there'll be beer and cigars for everybody in the lobby afterwards. So, of course, big thanks to our team. We got Shayna running the Shills account today. So big thanks, huge thanks. We got Chris Lundy, Janine Turblanche, and Super Chat Matt as well. Janine's got a fundraiser going. You're going to see a community post about it from us later today. And you're going to hear about it a lot on our PubChat tomorrow because we're going to try to close it out as best we can. And news to follow. Thanks for watching and joining us, everybody. But most importantly, thanks for supporting Ukraine. Huge thanks. So I guess we end with 2 words. Slava Ukraine.
Slava Ukraine.
Heroem Slava.
Well said, everybody. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night. Oh, you can say bye, everybody. Come on.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It's over. Go home. Go.